Good afternoon, welcome to my new channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Japan and what it's been doing behind China's back, especially colluding with the US. So, as you may know, Japan and the US have been on a summit, and Japanese Prime Minister Suga went to America to meet with Biden. Um, they issued a joint statement, and Japan has escalated its interference with China's affairs by mentioning Taiwan for the first time in about 50 years, I believe. I think it was 1969 since Richard, where Sato and Richard Nixon mentioned Taiwan, and since then it's been fairly friendly with the Japanese. As you know, Japan is China's biggest trade partner, and there's a lot of Japanese cars in the Chinese market, and Chinese generally like Japanese products because they are quite reliable. But anyway, this is the first time the Japanese Prime Minister has escalated tensions between the two countries and has collided colluded with the US. Um, so it's not very good news really, because Japan, in terms of history, was Japan and China relations have not been good, because Japan did invade China and caused countless of rapes, pillaged, killed so many Chinese during those years. So China has kind of forgiven them, but not forgotten, and they have had quite friendly relations since then. So I want to kind of talk about some of these statements coming out. So let me discuss this. Okay, so it says here, China is far more important to Japan than Washington is to Tokyo in terms of trade and economy. China became Japan's top export destination in 2020, leapfrogging the US and consuming more than 22% of Japanese goods sold overseas, according to data from Japan's Ministry of Finance. It baffles many in the Asia-Pacific region that the new Suga government is negating past Japanese government's generally friendly policy towards China by following the heels of Washington and beginning to critique Beijing's governance. With regards to Japan's security, it will be wise for Japan to forge amicable partnerships with China and Russia, simply because Japan is geographically close and akin to the two giant countries. Japan can never move its islands away from the West Pacific Rim, so it's in Japan's best interest to integrate more deeply with China and Russia. As Japan's largest trading partner for many years, after all, Japan is an Asian country and always will be. Throughout, many politicians in Tokyo have aspired Japan to become a Western nation, and it is in national interest to establish a stable and constructive relationship with all regional countries, particularly China and Russia. So I want to kind of talk about Japan really. I mean, look, everyone knows that USA has dumped two bombs in atomic bombs in Japan, one in Hiroshima, which is quite well known. And this was only 50 or so years ago. So it's not a so I don't understand why Japanese are going with the Americans when Americans have dropped two nuclear bombs into Japan. It looks like Japan's completely lost its tooth since then. They should be focusing on China and Russia relations, because those China and Russia are right next to Japan in terms of geopolitics, and the trade is much larger between the two countries. Plus, China and Russia China especially, will overcome US economy pretty soon in the next 10 years, as well as the military. And in terms of military, China and Russia, in terms of military strength, is stronger than America right now. So I don't understand Japanese policy really. I mean, this is causing a lot of friction, and to mention Taiwan in their joint statement is giving Taiwanese separatists reason to be independent from China. They're going to think, oh, Japan and USA are going to be at our side at all times, so let's become independent. We've got strong followers that will support our independence. So what's that's going to do is these separatists are going to go for independence, and China's not going to allow that, and it's going to cause it's going to start a war basically. So US and China's statements are pushing for war. They're not stabilizing the area, they're destabilizing. These comments will destabilize, and it's just pushing these Taiwanese separatists to move away from China. So I want to say that Japan, I mean, I don't know what Japan's doing lately really, because now they're also saying that they're going to dump the Fukushima radioactive water into the sea, which is going to affect Korea, China, Russia, and after maybe 30 years, maybe America as well. And I love how the Chinese spokesperson mentioned that if Japan is if the water is safe to drink, then please drink it. Which is 100% right, because that water is radioactive, and if they need to keep that water, they need to make storage within Japan. I mean, Japan is giving away so much land to America for the military. I mean, they've given Okinawa, they've given other islands to America as well. Why don't they put it in there? Why don't they put it in Okinawa or something? Put it near the American bases. I'm sure they would like that. If America says it's safe to dump, then dump in Okinawa. Why dump it in the sea? So yeah, I mean, I really don't know what this new sugar government is doing, to be honest. I mean, they're just causing more issues with China, and China can easily stop trade with Japan, and Japan right now is bleeding money. They got these Olympic Games coming up in the next few months, 3 months. They haven't cancelled it. And it's just been a waste of money. They're not going to let any tourists in. Tourists normally come in to spend money, etc. Spend money on the economy. That's not going to happen. They still suffer from outbreaks of corona, so nobody knows what's happening with the Olympics. If it goes ahead, there won't be anyone in the stadiums really. It's just going to be a waste of money. And Japan's economy is going down. It's not going up. So they need China. They need They don't need America more, they need China more. So this kind of rhetoric and being against China is just going to cost them. And China can easily say, no, sorry, you're not allowed to sell Japanese cars in China, or not, stop working with Japanese companies, and it's going to hurt Japanese economy more. So Japan really needs to look at the foreign policy against China. And I just don't think it's very good at the moment. Anyway, subscribe and share and like my channel if you want me to talk more about this. And I've also started a new Patreon account, so if you can support my channel, I can carry on creating content like this. Thank you. Bye.